Hello everyone, and welcome to a very exciting video, which is to say the finalist air poll for the Moonstone Pack. So over the past few weeks you guys have been voting for the members of the Moonstone Pack, the pups from the different litters, and you have chosen a finalist from each of those litters, and now we're going to be voting between the three litters that Peregrine and Remus had to determine which of these wolves is actually going to be the heir that we'll be following when Frodo's story comes to its end, which Frodo has at the time that I'm doing this. He's got about a litter and a half left, so that'll be a little bit, but you guys will have the time to vote for this in the meantime. If you guys have not seen that, or you want to catch up on the series that you missed, you can do that either right here on the JPlays2 channel, or if you want to catch us live, you can check out our Twitch, which you can see in the video description if you want to catch these as they're going up and have the chance to participate and do things like name pups, or help us decide where we're going to put our den, or where we're going to make a territory, and all that fun stuff. We stream on most Tuesdays from 3:30 to 5 Pacific time, and most Thursdays from 2 to 4 Pacific time. And we usually do Planet Zoo on Tuesdays. I'm getting Tuesdays and Thursdays mixed up. I'm sorry, I'm tired. But we also stream WolfQuest on most Thursdays, and I'm not usually this tired. Sometimes I am, but if you want to see more of me tired or not, you can go ahead and do so on Twitch, or here on the JPlays2 if you want to catch up on these stories for these guys, which are no longer on Twitch, but we have them in a playlist right here. So first up, of course, we have our first litter finalist, which is Juno. He is the 3M member of the pack, and he has the Luna coat. He was from the litter that we had when the Luna coat was really, really prevalent. So a lot of his siblings had this coat as well, but it is a very, very pretty coat. I do love the white on dark coats. Like, they just are so pretty, and he has these lovely golden eyes to complement it too. He is a genetic black coat color. Actually, all of the pups from this litter did, and so he has that. And he would have one black coat. He definitely has one black coat and one gray coat gene. All of them would, because Peregrine had a gray coat, and so she didn't have any black coat genes to pass on. So all of these are going to be black coat, gray coat. But you can see his eyes here. We'll take a closer look. He has these really pretty golden eyes that really stand out against his darker fur. And as for his howls, let's go ahead and take a listen to those too. He's got a pretty deep howl there, and then for his secondary, one, so he's got a bit of range there. Now, as for ears and body modifications, he didn't get any naturally, but you guys have the chance to submit ideas for those on the Patreon still. We won't be putting any in until closer to when we're actually going to do that, so you guys got a little time if you're seeing this before the finalist is chosen and the series starts. If you're a member of the Patreon, you can find the post where this video is linked, and you'll have the chance to submit your ideas for something that could happen in the comments of that post. So maybe Juno got into a fight with a bear or something, or was fighting with the coyotes that he was so infamous for trying to seek out, and he got himself a bit of a torn ear here, or not a notched ear, maybe a torn ear too. If that's something you think happened and you're a member of the Patreon, you're welcome to comment that idea, and I might take some of them and incorporate them into a canon backstory between when a wolf was a pup and when a wolf became an adult. So if you have ideas, you can put them there and have a chance for them to be used. But as for his stats, he has -1 strength, +1 stamina, +1 speed, and -1 health, so he's a bit of a runner, I would say. But he's not as much of a fighter. He's more made to be a swift wolf, and he can run for a longer distance, but he's going to do less damage, and he's not going to be able to last as long in a fight. Again, he is the 3M member of the Moonstone Pack. He's the offspring of Peregrine and Remus, and yeah, he went through a tougher litter for sure. He went through the one that had the most losses, and so he's had a tougher time of things, and we'd have to see how that could reflect in his story. But he was still a pretty bold wolf who tried to help out with the fighting on some occasions. So most of the pups are pretty bold, but Juno definitely was among them. But that is Juno. He is our first litter finalist, and next up from our second litter we have Taiga. So Taiga is the 7M member of the Moonstone Pack. He has, I don't think, was this Remus's coat? I don't think this was Remus's coat, but it's quite a lot like it. He does look quite a bit like his dad. I think that's more red than Remus was, though. He certainly has more of a red tint, but again, he still has that genetic black coat color, and again, he would have one black coat gene and one gray coat gene because Peregrine didn't carry a black coat gene. As for his eyes, he also got those really pretty golden eyes, kind of similar to Juno. And as for his howl here, we'll go ahead and listen to those two. He has a very deep howl there, and then for his secondary, a much higher one, so he also has quite a bit of range. Once again, for these two, you can submit ideas on the Patreon to have a chance to have them used. We won't be choosing those just yet, but if you do think that there's something that makes sense for him to have, you can comment your idea, and I may incorporate it into his canon backstory from the time when he was a pup to the time when he became an adult. Now, as for his stats, he has +2 strength and +1 speed, but -1 stamina and -2 health. So he's definitely he's a wolf who strikes quickly and with great force, but he can't run for as long, and he won't be able to stay in a fight for as long if he doesn't do his damage right away. So he's a little bit of a glass cannon, you might say, but certainly a very strong wolf. Very, very big boy. He's a very big boy. But he has a 7M designation you can see here, and as for his personality, we can't see what the exact traits were, but he was a little bit, he probably, of the 3 finalists, he probably is the most level-headed. I think he was a little bit of a wanderer, but he wasn't quite as bold, so he'd probably be, although I think he'd still be leaning a little bit bold, he'd probably be a little bit less prone to just running in and a little bit more prone to taking his time and considering things in more depth and detail. But that is Taiga. He is our finalist from the 2nd litter. And last but not least, we have our 3rd litter finalist, Puma. So Puma is the 9F member of the Moonstone Pack, and she has this really unique coat. This is actually one of the NPC coats. You can't get this in your wolves in normal customization. You can only get it from pups, and some dispersals can come with it as well. I think it's actually a variation of the original gray coat, possibly, but it is a lot darker, and she does have the genetic black coat color as she and all of her siblings did. Again, because Peregrine didn't carry a black coat at all, we know that she must have one black coat gene and one gray coat gene, which does mean she was a little bit more disease resistant as a pup. It's a helpful combo to have. But she has the NPC exclusive coat here. She does have that kind of iconic brown stripe on her nose there. I love that so much. And she also has these really kind of pale, almost greeny eyes, which is pretty interesting. It's definitely different than the gold color we've seen in her siblings and especially her brothers from the other 2 litters, the other finalists. So she has these really pretty, almost kind of greeny eyes. They do remind me quite a lot of a cougar, of the pumas from which she's named. They have kind of that grayish sort of look. I feel like that's kind of a cougar-y color, but let's go ahead and we'll listen to her howls as well. She has that very iconic original howl from the first game way back in, what, 2007? Now it's been 14 years. I'm still not over that. We talked about it recently. I'm still not over that. But definitely a throwback to those original times. It's great to see that howl has persisted through the years. But as for her secondary, we have... a little bit of a higher, whinier kind of howl as well, which I think that, I do feel like that suits her. I think that is fitting for her. Now, once again, for ear and body customizations, we're not going to be choosing those just now, but if you are a member of the Patreon, that's one thing that you'll have access to. You can find this video posted as a post on the Patreon and comment your ideas there for a chance to have them used in her canon backstory. That's a possibility if you have any ideas on what could happen to her from the time that she was a pup. and the time that she became an adult and what that might have done if she has maybe a bent ear for whatever reason, maybe left over from a fight, maybe one just didn't quite perk all the way up as a pup. Whatever you guys think, you can comment those ideas on the Patreon if you're a member of it and have a chance to see them used in her canon story. But as for her stats, she has +1 strength, +2 stamina, but -1 speed and -2 health. So she actually has more endurance in the form of stamina and a pretty solid bite as well. A little bit different from the ambush hunting tactics of the cougars she's named after, but stamina could certainly serve her well, and in fact, with higher strength and stamina, she could end up being a pretty good beaver hunter. Those are some good traits for a wolf that could specialize in beavers. That's something that can be very helpful with that. And with the beavers as a newer feature to the game, that could be something that she might choose to do as part of her story. It would depend. We'd have to see, but it is a possibility. But last but not least, of course, she is the 9F member of the Moonstone Pack, and we cannot see her personality, but she is very, very bold. This pup was a troublemaker. She was always running away. She was always finding trouble. I think she even almost got snatched by a cougar at one point and kind of lived up to her name, if I recall. Maybe it wasn't a cougar. I thought it was, though. You guys have to go look back and see in the story. I will link the playlist in the video description, and you can see in the third litter there what her story was, but I seem to recall something like that, unless my memory is betraying me. But I do for sure know she was very bold. She was always running away, always finding something to get into trouble of some sort, and always very much keeping her parents on their toes. So I feel like she would be a very confident wolf who's quick to rush into trouble, but also quick to defend her family. I think she'd be a pretty protective wolf as well. I could definitely see that in her. But that is Puma. She is our third and final finalist, and you'll have the chance to vote for any one of these three to become the official heir of the Moonstone Pack and start off our next generation once Frodo's story reaches its conclusion. So again, that's going to be Juno, that's going to be Taiga, and that's going to be Puma are your options, and you'll have the chance to vote for them in the poll in the video description. But we're going to go ahead and end this off here because it is about that time again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.